Hello, hello, hello. It is so nice to see you. Thank you for coming out. Wow, this is great. So I'm Nancy Gibson, I'm the director, and I have had the honor and privilege of working with this group of people now for a couple of months. Louder? Yeah. You can't hear me? Yeah. How about now? Yeah. All right. So I've had a real privilege of working with this group of people, and I'm going to tell you, coming close to you doesn't help, that I came into this project with a sense of dread, of fear, because I didn't know enough. And I've learned a lot of stuff. And these people are incredible people, and I want you to think now about what's happening right now backstage. Some of these people have never told their story in front of people. Some of them stay on the margins. Some of them tell different stories. And some of them are very, very active in the community. And that's what you're going to see tonight. You're going to see people on the whole spectrum. But they've had one rehearsal together as a whole group. Because working 2 or 3 jobs and driving around and stuff and coming from Green Bay is a long way. They've made a huge commitment. So they're going to use their scripts, and that's okay. I don't care. But what I do care about is that we are here to receive them. And at the end of the show, which isn't that long, we're going to have a chance for you to ask some questions and be present in a different way. And the one question that I don't want you to ask is the question, what did you do? Do you know that's the first question people ask them? Also at the talkback, it's their forum. I know sometimes we get really chatty as a group. I've been in public with some of you people. And it takes everything I can not to just say, sit down and shut up. No offense. I just mean, let's make space for them. Okay? Questions, not tellings. And then after, if you want to talk to somebody and ask a deeper question or share, they're here. They'll be here. We have a reception in that back room. And some of them are working for some incredible agencies, and you can go back, and they're in the back here program, but you can go talk to them about it and how you can make an impact. Because for me, that's the point of you being here. We're not here to be entertained. We're here to have a better understanding about what's going on in our justice system and make a better change for it. Because as you'll hear, 95% of people who are incarcerated are returned into the community. And what are we doing to support them so that they don't end up back there and we end up being hurt in whatever way and hurting them? So thank you so much. I'm really, really grateful. You're going to like this. They're so awesome. All right, so have a good show.
Why do we incarcerate people?
retribution, punishing offenders for their crimes to satisfy a sense of justice.
Deterrence, discouraging both the offenders and others from committing future crimes through the threat of punishment.
A concrete platform with a thin pad for a bed.
Rehabilitation. Providing services and programs for offenders to address underlying causes for behaviors and to reduce the likelihood of reoffending.
A steel door with 2 slits in it.
Where cuffs and manacles bind our hands.
And feet.
While we travel from space to space.
23 hours a day are spent in that place.
The whole.
Oh.
In this place, I'm known as prisoner N17256.
I'm a father and a felon.
A mother.
A grandfather.
A son.
A citizen.
We are all
Human.
I didn't come from a family with a history of incarceration. That's not something we talk about. My problem started when I got my wisdom tooth pulled, and they put me on Vicodin. After that, my life went all downhill. Man, I take full responsibility for that because I know I should have took them pills. But back then, they was handing them Vicodins out like they was M&M. So I took them because I didn't want to deal for the pain. I didn't want to deal with that pain. After that, everything went downhill. My dad, he always said I was a badass. That's because I had a tendency to say whatever I wanted to say out of my mouth. That's really because I had a problem with following directions. That's exactly what got me in trouble when I went to jail. When I went to the hole, it was my mouth. But before that happened, I got raped by my ex. And I got pregnant. Even though my tubes were tied. I didn't report it, because I knew nobody wouldn't believe me. But I had a beautiful daughter. And I didn't want her to go through what I went through with him. So I gave up for adoption. Best thing I could ever do for her. What's fucked up? Because with our second daughter, he didn't want me to have nothing to do with her. I was an embarrassment to the family. Man. And he didn't want her to have a mom that was locked up. So he took matters into his own hands.
In 2013, I was sentenced to 14 years in prison. I was driven through the gates of Tachita Correctional on April 24, 2013, the day my youngest son turned 11. I earned my high school equivalency diploma. I went on to tutor my fellow sisters in general education and English as a second language. The days were long. We'd get up at 6 for count, off to chow, back to your cell, get ready for work, and work until 3. Chow started at 4, evening count at 6. And if I wanted to call home, it would have to be between 6 and 8. So in 2017, workers and students signed paperwork, filed paperwork, did whatever they could do to earn extra hours so that they could reach and stay in touch with their families, do laundry, just have some socialization. And they worked hard, and it got passed, and they were elated. They had followed the system and the process that the system provided for them to make things better. And about a week or so later, a relief sergeant came in and canceled those hours. Women were in the shower, they were on the phones with their kids or their loved ones, and their access to that was immediately terminated. So several women started handing out inmate complaint forms, the process that they provide us. For handing out complaint forms, those women were given 365 days in the hole for inciting a riot. Fine. Nobody?
It's effed up.
That is messed up.
Conditions of confinement.
And I know conditions of confinement are only getting worse. My anger burns for how people are treated in the name of rehabilitation.
Hey Kelly, let's go.
I'm in the shower.
I see you, let's go.
Yeah, can I get dressed?
No, stop stalling, we gotta go.
Okay, okay.
What's taking so long?
Man, I'm getting dressed. Give me a second.
All right, stay right here. I suggest you shut it, you got some stuff going on here.
Miss Kelly?
Yes, Your Honor.
Miss Kelly, please acknowledge the court.
You can hear me.
We can't hear you, Miss Kelly, you're on mute.
Can you hear me?
Let's go.
Can you hear me?
Miss Kelly, you're late.
It's not my fault. I don't make the schedule.
This is a child support hearing for your daughter. Are you aware of that?
What?
Okay, based on your history, the information provided to the court by the child's father, and your apparent lack of interest in arriving to court proceedings on time, it's very clear to me that you are neither reliable nor responsible enough to take care of this child. Therefore, I am legally granting full custody to the child's father. What this means is that you are not to contact your daughter until she is considered an adult in the eyes of the Wisconsin state court system. You are to make no attempts to contact the child, her school, medical professionals, or her friends. Is that clear?
And I didn't get a chance to prepare for my case or talk to my lawyer.
Ms. Kelly, you're currently serving a 5-year sentence. Are you aware of what's transpired here today?
Yes, Your Honor.
Case adjourned.
All right, you good?
I'm currently in the hole, serving a 90-day sentence. I have both the spiritual strength and the social support from my family, who holds me up in my harsh conditions. Into the hole is disturbing. For the first few weeks, a month, I was out of it. Sometimes you allowed a few things. Some people don't have nothing. It's like not even socks or drawers, or they butt naked. I had pictures in my box of my sister and my father. They passed, and I wasn't able to go to the funeral. So I hold these close to me, because if I lose these, it's like they're really dead. The most important part, I put them on my bunk so that it reminds me. So if I lose them, that means they're gone. It's lonely. The day room locks off the hole. No lights. There's fluorescent lights, 24/7 blazing. The cells are cold. In the winter, the summer is hot as hell. The window, they painted. I scratch a little light in it, scratch a little section, and I look, and it allows me to see society, the world, just to get away from here. Time does not exist. You have a new clock. CEO shift change, peel call, food, the trap open. Food comes in, medicine comes in, it closes. The trap closed, then slammed. I sit here waiting for whatever comes next. It's like an animal in a cage.
Okay, Akbar, let's go. We're going to health services.
What?
Yep, let's go.
Get out.
Hey, you ain't gotta be doing all that.
You want some?
Hey, you stay on bullshit.
Shut the fuck up.
That soft ass ain't no shit.
I guess you don't need your rec week.
Fuck you and Rick. I've been in the hole for 3 years, 8 months. The mental part of it is the worst. You don't have control over anything, not even yourself. I draw, try to read, try to think, grateful for my imagination. It's like a bass drum all day in your head, the noise. the lights. They treat you like animals. The guards, they're God. They do anything. We have no power, and they know it. They know it. They control everything, and they can take away anything from us at any time.
Air quality.
Recreation. Toilet paper.
The world revolves around the guards.
And if the guard's in a bad mood, they'll ruin your whole day.
Spit in your food.
Deny your mail.
The entire system treats you like you're worthless. And after time, you believe that, and no one cares if you live or die. You just try to survive, keep your sanity. You expect the worst of human nature because they expect it of you.
Who searched my cell?
Get in.
What the fuck? Let me see a white shirt.
I'll see what I can do, but I've got other shit to handle.
This is bullshit. I want to see a white shirt.
It's the last time I was with my kids. All of them together, at least. Look at them all matching PJs, little princesses. It's hard to not get down on everything about your life and who you are and what you've done. You think about your kids, especially your kids, right? I hope they know. I hope they know how much I think about them, how much I miss them. I try to draw in here, and it's not the same, because I should be drawing with them. I should be protecting them. I should be with them. I just hope they know how much I love them and that I'm still here.
Hey, Talib! Talib!
This is bullshit.
Bro, you okay?
Hey, they got no right to fuck with my shit. Hey, hey!
What's up?
I want to make a complaint. Where's the fucking white shirt I asked for?
That was first shift. This is second. Put in a complaint to the first shift admin.
He said he would get somebody. This is bullshit.
I can't help
Look at my motherfucking room.
you. I can't help you.
A few years ago, Wisconsin sent a bunch of inmates to Tennessee, and I spent 2 years and 8 months in the hole down there. I would see guys get beaten and dragged out of their cells for refusing to cuff up. And sometimes, for me, I would use the hole as like a reset, to just clear the slate and get everything that's in my head off the plate. I would write, I would exercise and pray, and I would spend a lot of time working to keep my thoughts pure. Because if I didn't, I found myself becoming more aggressive. And then the hole in and of itself, less of a deterrent.
Hey, Coop, you see Jay?
No, man, not for a while.
Talib, you see him?
No.
Knock on the wall, tell him to get his lazy ass up.
Hey, what are y'all doing over here? Quiet down.
Why do you care?
Because I don't want to hear your dumbasses.
Man, hey, Jay ain't been up all morning.
Probably in the room reading that book. Jay, you get that book. You had it for 2 weeks.
How's he even sleeping through all this?
Good.
I didn't know he could sleep through all this shit.
Guess so.
Jay, give me that book.
They took it in the cell search.
This
What?
one?
Let me see that book.
Is this the book you have for Jay?
Yeah.
All right, thanks. I heard that you want a book. Jay, Coop said you had a book for him. I got one for you from him as well. Jay, you okay? You okay in there?
What you doing?
Swapping books between Cody and Jay, but Jay's not responding.
He always does this.
I gotta get him some help.
I'm gonna call the sergeant.
They probably fuck with his meds.
Man, shut up.
Sergeant, come to the infirmary. We need you from the infirmary too.
Jay, get up.
This doesn't concern you.
They're taking their sweet time.
I gotta hurry the fuck up.
Hey, something's wrong!
Chill, guys, chill. We're gonna get him some help.
This is bullshit, man. Check on
Y'all gotta
Jay.
get somebody up here to check him out, man.
Well, we tear this motherfucker up. Get this shit right.
Just chill, okay? Somebody's coming. Sergeant's coming.
Here you come.
I got the clear. Sergeant, we have a PIOC non-responsive.
I can't see nothing, man. Can you see anything?
Not yet.
Man, something's wrong, bro.
Something ain't right. Jay'll be up by now.
Jay, come on.
Hey!
Jay!
Sergeant,
How you doing? What do we got?
PIOC non-responsive.
Is he okay?
We're not sure.
Jay! Jay! Jay, you okay? Jay, you know if you don't respond, we're gonna have to come in there. Jay! Are you sure that's what you wanna do?
Get up, come on, Jay.
I'm gonna call the White Shirt HSU. Lieutenant Harris, we got a PIOC, non-responsive. Has he been in like this all day?
Not ignoring any other shit.
Listen, man, not right now, not right now.
He was all right this morning, that count.
Hey, yo, I think the white shirt just walked out.
Jay!
Well, shit, they ain't coming fast enough.
They taking their sweet time.
It's some bullshit.
What's the situation, Sergeant?
Service is
Jay.
non-responsive. I'm gonna call HSU.
They ain't got no. Oh, here she comes.
All right, medical coming through.
You see anything, Coop?
Not yet. See the nurse.
She just walked in.
Okay.
No pulse. Dead on arrival.
I think it ain't bad.
Hey, I think I just seen a body bag, yo.
Yeah, they just passed me.
Damn.
go.
What?
Let's go.
What is he doing?
Got something to give you.
We received a letter from Tina Ivy.
That's my sister, man. Something wrong? I need to call. I need to make a call, man.
We need authorization from the captain admin. And Captain Smith won't be in until the morning. You okay?
They gave me more time than she had left. Her life measured in dwindling breaths and mine, stacked calendars with pages falling like dead leaves. Calendars marked with collect calls, answered at first and then fewer, then finally none. Silence doesn't echo in here. It suffocates. And I guess I should have known that the angel assigned to blow her final horn had already inhaled, and all the cliches and all the things they say to people that are grieving, that she's in a better place and time heals all wounds. That's some bullshit. Time in here, it doesn't heal. Time in here cuts like a blade. And every tick of every second of every day creates fresh cuts joined with old wounds against my soul. The thing is, I knew this letter would come one day. Folded, depth in an envelope, the wound from which I came, now reduced to words on a page. A period where a heartbeat used to be. The thing is, I never knew the last time I hugged her would be the last time I could hug her. And that moment, it weighs heavy, it plays in my chest, reverberating in my ribs. They gave me more years than she would ever see. Period. Where her heart used to be. And me. I swallowed my tears and choked back, taking to grit. Because I cannot, will not let these walls see the salt of my tears. So I pace. Back and forth I pace to pause my anger. I pace upon my rage and my pain. I pace inside this 6x8 in a box. A box. In a box full of boxes. A cage. 8 corners, 2,880 degrees of me. Mirrors, scarred and dented, reflecting distorted images of me. So I reflect inward to project outward strength. Is this all you got? Is this all you got? You think her death would crush me? You think these walls consume me? lock me in here, I lock deeper into me. Deeper. And every brick, every bar, every key, and every lock is iron. Sharpening iron. And that's a battle I will always win. Every day I persist. Every breath I insist. Every tear I choke is a promise kept. Every tear I choke is a promise kept. Her story, it lives in me. The bone, the metal of her strength is the marrow in my bone. Her struggle is the struggle I rise again and again and again. You see, I believe and know that I am more than your disposition, more than your segregation. I am more than your silence. I don't come to any of you for forgiveness, nor do I visit upon you my retired violence. I am born of a womb. My mother's soul resides in my DNA. And as long as I am breathing, my heart is beating. Her rhythm beats on each day. And this it's a cage! It's a cage! A cage. This will neither define me or confine me.
We are punished.
We are discouraged.
We are restricted.
We are incapacitated.
But we are not rehabilitated. And 95% of us
Are released.
I wrote a poem for you. There's a lot of time to write in the hole. There are women sitting in the hall right now, alone, behind thick metal doors, not for hours or days, but for weeks, and sometimes months. We are not monsters. We are not hardened. Many of us are mothers, longing for the touch of our children. Some are daughters, barely past childhood. Some of us broke under pressure, under addiction, under abuse, and under grief. We speak in a whisper when we remember solitary. Not because we're ashamed, but because the memories still echo so loud. There's no clock in the box, no mirror. No one sees me. And the world outside says it's not torture. Have they sat in silence for 90 days? Have they stared at walls so long that the paint seems to pulse? Have they banged on steel doors just to hear something human? Do they dream of handcuffs and wake with their nails dug in their palms? There is damage from being locked away, first by a system, and long before that, by people who claimed they love us. We are taught that our presence is dangerous, our pain is contagious, and that our badness might rub off. And when the door opens and we re-enter the world,
You are not welcomed or supported.
Our past brands us unforgivable. When will we stop doing time?
We only useful when we are locked up.
Solitary does not rehabilitate. It disappears. It disappears people who need support, survivors who once trusted the wrong person, the vulnerable, the addicted, the grieving, and the lost. And punishment is not the same as pain without end. It doesn't heal us or make us better people.
We need you to stand with us and understand the work that makes this system just. Because the truth is, whether we're in this cell or out there, we are all humans.
Thank you for coming, everybody. We're going to move into our second part of the presentation. We have what we call a talk back. Any thoughts, questions? Anybody immediately want to offer up about what you saw here tonight? I didn't think I needed this, but I'll use it. Yeah. Come on now, don't be shy. You just saw something rather powerful, and it's important to us all because although a lot of people in the audience have not lived this experience or had this experience firsthand, we're all paying for it. It's a community cost. It's a thing that we all have a part to play in. I see a hand back there. Go ahead, sir. Is that you, Lieutenant? Stand up, please. Stand up, sir. Let's see you.
So my name is Malik Frazier. I work for the Racine County Sheriff's Office. I'm a patrol deputy. And I just so happen to be part of City Council for the City of Racine. So my perspective is a little bit different. As the question that I have, for whoever wants to answer it, we talk about, what's the word, rehabilitation, right? And I guess I would like to know from anyone who's willing to answer, what does rehabilitation look like from a policing aspect? Because in order for you to get to prison, right, you gotta be taken into custody. And then the jail aspect, before you get to prison, you have to be in the jail. And then once you're in prison, which is something that I don't know, that's part of this whole system that we are not privy to being in law enforcement. What does rehabilitation look like? And I know, yeah, so I just think that.
Thank you for your question, sir. Go ahead, my good man.
Thank you, sir, for your question. It's a good one. to start at the base level, you mentioned just on a patrol level, what rehabilitate, like when you encounter someone, typically law enforcement is involved after a crime is committed. And I would say to you, or anyone in that space, if when you do encounter someone, I know you have to respond to the crime, to the criminal code, but also respond to the human being and consider the conditions that brought forth the action. There are many times that criminal activity is a response to something other than criminal activity. Sometimes it's survival, sometimes it's fear, sometimes it's mental illness. Part two, once someone is incarcerated in a county jail, the rehabilitation doesn't start there. And I don't want to get into the semantics of what the word rehabilitation is. To redo something assumes that something had already been in place. And that's assuming that foundations were solid and homes and things were built. And so the county jail many times is the most structured place people have been in a while when you live in a life on the streets. Rehabilitation won't start there either until you deal with the person. The criminal justice system responds to the crime. The notion of rehabilitation is to respond to the individual. So once one reaches prison, the presumption would be that this is where the rehabilitation is going to take place. Unfortunately, in Wisconsin and many other places in the country and the world, this is where the warehousing begins. And the rehabilitation, in all honesty, I can say this looking at my brothers, the rehabilitation happens when Shannon and I are sitting in the day room playing chess or walking the yard. The rehabilitation that happens in the system happens amongst us. As law enforcement, the perspective that you don't see is once we matriculate through the legal criminal system, now we're in the Department of Corrections, and that's a warehousing endeavor. So I can say, having done 23 years in 1 month, my own opinion and my experience is that rehabilitation is not the job of the system. And they've shown that it isn't.
That's a good answer, sir. Hold on to that one. Anybody else want to take a crack at that?
Yeah, well, so not to belabor what Hassan said, but to kind of add a little bit more, because I think that's right on line with what I would have said, is the system and the human are different, right? And so the system actors, I feel a lot of times, there's this concept of I'm just doing my job, but what is your job? Right? Is it the job that you're paid for in the job description, which is secure, warehouse, shift, or is your job as a human being in that position to take on a different role as someone who's a part of the continuum of assistance and rehabilitation, right? And so there's some individual in Milwaukee, where I'm from, who made this comment a while back, and the work that we do is largely on helping individuals the second they enter, right? Like re-entry is a concept that's always thought of when you get close to release, and that's not really a healthy way to look at that, because you're missing all the time you could have really connected with somebody and helped them actually start to rehabilitate. But this individual would say re-entry starts in the back of the paddy wagon. And what I liked about that is what he was saying is that every single person, the second you have cuffs on you, right, from the time you release, assuming that you go through the whole journey, they're a part of that continuum of your desistance from crime. And it's not a matter of like, are you going to come back or not? Maybe it's you come back for something less. Maybe you work your way out of it. It's the same as any kind of a behavior that you have to work yourself off of. And so the one thing I would say from that is it would be wonderful if we could start to get system actors at every stage to understand that they are just doing their job, but their job is not to just be a part of the conveyor belt. Their job is to be a part of this person's actual change. And even for that 1 hour, they might have an interaction with them. That can be huge, right? We all have teachers that maybe had one interaction with us in our life, and we remember that one staff member, that one police officer, that one sheriff can be that person. So, your job is not just to do the thing you get paid for. Your job is to also help create a connection that can be the thing that gets this person back on the path that we all want from them.
Well said. Thank you. Thank you for that. So we're still gonna take a few minutes and have this conversation, and then I'm gonna invite you all, those who can stay and be a part of our reception. You'll get a chance to see some of the orgs that are tabling in the other room. Talk to an accomplished author up there, Mr. Jordan. Could you wave for the people so they see you? There we go. All right. And we have a question out of the audience, so we'll take that.
Thank you for your presentation. My name is Rachel Trilbaugh, and I am a retired social worker. My question is, that there is a new juvenile facility being built on Taylor Avenue. And I would like to know if you think that will help young people get set on a better path so they don't end up in prison.
In short, no. Simple and plain. I'm gonna stand up. But as somebody who opened up Racine Youth for Offender Correctional Facility on May 11, 1998, when I was 16 years old, I can tell you by way of experience that the juvenile institutions, they do more damage than good. And the reason being is because rehabilitation, well, first of all, as a child, your brain isn't fully developed until you turn about 25 years old. So we don't really realize the choices that we make today, how they're gonna affect our lives 10 or 15, 20 years from now. And I know that because I did. But what I noticed about the state of Wisconsin is they build more prisons just for the purpose of housing and warehousing. It's never for rehabilitation, it's never for real assistance, it's never for anything except to continue to pad their pocket. And most of the money is being put into re-entry and not before they enter. So if you put money into programs, when I was growing up, it was Boys and Girls Clubs, there were other boys' homes and you know, after school programs that made more sense to even be a part of. And we had fun going, it was something to look forward to. I went to a summer day camp in Milwaukee where I'm from at a place called Hillside Boys and Girls Club, and they had all types of activities. I went to soccer camp. I'd never played soccer before, but it was something to do that occupied me. So again, like in short, like I said, no, it won't help. But what it does is it blinds the people who don't have those personal experiences, and it deceives them into believing that it will help because they think if you build a new facility, that crime is going to be deterred. And we've seen that crime hasn't been deterred over the past 25 years when truth and sentencing was enacted on January 1st, 2000. So, no, it won't help.
Thank
you, sir. Thank you.
I want to just beat that horse for one more minute because we're talking about a core issue here. Don't forget, jails are the response to crime. It doesn't prevent criminality. If you're going to take the X amount of millions that they're spending on a juvenile facility, why not invest that in social services? Why not invest that in feet on the ground? Why not invest that? I don't care. I'd rather have a cop in the school than an idiot with the gun. Okay, let's invest in our youth in the way that instead of building a facility, let's build like foundations, things that they can grow on. How about a pipeline to the trades, a pipeline to college, a pipeline to something other than prisons? Because the truth is, if you know about economics and dollar votes, if you were to analyze the system, you would say, well, you're spending all your money on a brick mortar structure about warehousing. And if you broke down the money and how much is spent on reentry, how much is spent on programming, how much is spent on anything other than incarcerating, you'll see that the dollar votes clearly support warehousing. So the juvenile facility, it's a great thing to run a campaign on, but affecting crime on a core level, it's a smoke alarm after the fire.
Thank you. Got another question?
Hello, my name is Pam. I'm also a retired teacher and a member of the Project Return Board. And I'd like to know, after you left, where did you experience redemption and forgiveness? What helped you to acclimate back?
Oh, after I left prison? Well, it happened before. I always say this. So I went to prison long before I ever went to prison. Because it was a mental thing. You know, I worked at, just like I worked at having a job or holding a job down and doing positive things in the community subsequent to being in prison, I worked at getting there. I got up every day, I went to school, and I cut school, I would go to the neighborhood and do the things I didn't have no business doing. I put the effort in. I wasn't working consciously towards a felony, but that was the result ultimately, though. So, but the redemptive aspect happened as soon as I got there. Because I did 17 years and 3 months. I got waived at 15 years old, and they gave me 25 years. And so being there, not really understanding the gravity of the situation and being thrust into an environment that was filled with older people, you don't realize how it's going to affect your life. So the redemptive aspect, again, like I said, it started by way of reading. It was all internal for me because I knew I didn't want to continue to live this life and go through these things. I watched my nephew grow up, and I don't have any kids. I watched my nephew grow up. I watched just time pass. Difficult years passed. I got older, I got a little wiser, and I said, this can't be the rest of my life. So you have to go into yourself and realize that you got to give yourself a better opportunity, give yourself a better chance, and say, hey, I may have pulled the trigger on some things I shouldn't have pulled the trigger on early in life, but now I got to be a little more strategic about how I move, about who I deal with, about where I go, about why I go where I go, and about the things that I do. But the transition for me, getting out of prison, my biggest challenge, luckily my biggest challenge, and my only challenge really, was housing. Because I had never had any renter's history, I didn't have a work history, and that was they used two boilerplate statements. You have a felony, and you had no renter's history. And I spent a lot of money on renter's applications in 2016 when I came home. So that was my biggest hurdle. But because I had a really good support system, and I didn't want to live with anybody. I could have went in a neighborhood that I knew was drug infested, or that would have rented to me with no ID or anything. I didn't want to be a part of that though, because my intent was to do everything right. So you have to be just as serious about staying out and doing the things that are going to help you stay out as you are about that outfit on a Friday night when you're about to go out and have some fun with your friends.
Trying to look good, you know.
Make sure everything looks good, you know what I'm saying? So, but yeah.
So what would have made a difference when you were 10?
In what?
So that you weren't at 15, what got you into prison?
What would have made a difference was the crack epidemic didn't exist. And my parents hadn't got divorced. And my father had become a crack addict. And if he hadn't came in the house because of a drug addiction and taken everything out, and my stepfather came in and being abusive, it was a lot of different elements that would have changed had I been 10 or 15. So trust me, it's not just a simple choice. A lot of people think it's just a simple choice that leads you to prison, but there's a lot of different variables that comes into play.
Well, let me take a stab at that one. I think I might. Oh, no, I'm good. I'm good. So, a couple things. One, being a Racinian, for those who don't know, I'm from Racine, Carl from Racine. I wanted to put a piece of clarity out there to say that the juvenile facility in Racine is already built and functional and running now, and it's on 3 Mile Road, just past the new Wendy's, for those who saw it. The Taylor Avenue is another and separate, different county facility, but yes, that one is under construction as we speak. I agree with my comrade here that juvenile facilities, as well as them both when them speaking, facilities are after, they're not before. And they are Band-Aids because of how they work. A front-end focus and a front-end investment is just not something that we do this generation. That's been teased out of the system for generations and generations. I would also say that part of the comment about programming, which I appreciate, is that we talk about this often, is that the system moves in a way that has some programming, but the programming that is touted, the program that is lifted up at a state level, hits a small percentage of the people in their care, 5 to 10% of the people in their care. They acknowledge that the majority of the people in the system are there convicted of violent crimes, violent felonies, etc. But in the same conversation, program that will be introduced won't be for that majority population. So they will say in the very same conversation that we're not trying to work with that group of people because that's what this building is for. That's what these buildings are for. And even if and when that population of people find their way to programming, utilizes programming, risk ratings go way down, they still won't be allowed to leave because it's talked about as if rehabilitation and the lessening of risk rating is attached to the time that this person has to serve, not to the fact that they have accomplished goals. That was teased out of the system when parole was teased out of the system. The very people who were front and center to see that and acknowledge that you have checked all the boxes, you have hit all the benchmarks, and your conduct on a day-to-day basis is where we would expect it to be. You are no longer a threat to yourself, a danger to the community, and we need to let you go because we have other people to focus on. that whole philosophy and the steps that go along with it have been teased out of the system from what he said, December 31st, 1999.
Yep.
So when it kicked off on January 1, you are that person. And that is truth in sentencing. Truth in sentencing is the time you get is the time you do. That is the current system that we live under. And if you want to change that, you have to get involved. Programming only works when we acknowledge that doing the programming, taking the programming, being successful with the programming means a tangible thing has happened that we will tangibly acknowledge, and Wisconsin doesn't operate that way in the way the system is now.
Sarah.
Oh, go ahead, Sarah.
You know, y'all, it's rough up here because normally there's a whole bunch of dudes that we talk to that talk with us, right? And so I'm glad to see some of my sisters up here.
Stand up, Sarah.
Redemption for me was really pretty internal, right? Redemption for me was when my dad finally told me that he was proud of me, when he told me he trusted me, when I didn't back down when people told me no, when I kept going instead of stopping, because most of us would rather do that. Like all these people you see up here, we're all professionals now, right? Like we come back to the community, we were educated, many of us, before we went in, and we got more educated when we got out. And I think redemption for me I guess it just needed to be me seeing myself as God saw me, as Jesus told me who I was. And my faith kept me alive in there. I did 1 full year in the hole, 365 days. Not a lot of women speak about that because the stigma is worse for some reason for women than men, and I don't really understand why, because we all go through the same crap while we're in there, and it doesn't matter how long. But being a woman and standing in this space is even more difficult for some reason. And so that's why we do it. And I just wanted to give a shout out really quick to Ange, because she did amazing with my story, and I appreciate that.
Thank you. Go ahead, Sharon, and then we got a question over here.
I have maybe an unpopular, uncomfortable answer to this because it's not the common way people look at it. The mere question is kind of fascinating to me. I don't owe anybody anything. Right? I spent 17 years in prison. The only way you need me to operate is I owe you nothing. Because if I owe you anything, I'm attached to that, and you get less of me every day. That's a weight, right? You don't owe anybody, I don't owe anybody. It's not that simple. That's a linear, simplistic view of life and the way we have gotten to this point over millennia. And so every single thing has a cause and effect. And am I asking the people that had the impact on my life to have me go where I go for where does that apology train stop at? When do we stop doing that? So the only way, right, that any of us are going to be who you want us to be in society is if the concept of redemption and forgiveness is one that's internal and isn't a conversation publicly, and it doesn't even have to be something where we feel like we're always having a tone for everything, because that's not what you want from us, I promise you. You think you do, it feels good. That's not what you want from us. So I always try to tell people to challenge, why is that a concept that you think is going to help society? What is, and how can we get you there with better questions and better answers and better actions if you pay attention to who we are more than what we tell you? Because we can tell you anything. We've done that a long time, right? That doesn't mean anything. So just look at our actions and who's around us. That'll give you way better understanding of redemption and forgiveness than the question does. And I mean no insult by I appreciate the question. Genuinely no attack by that. I just kind of want to emphasize that's a thing that we don't talk a lot about because we feel we have to atone and every day's a parole hearing. And it's not. And I don't live that way, and I tell people do not live that way.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Denise Lockwood. I own the Racine County iNews website. And I wanted to ask you a question only because I had a really big conversation with our friend over here, Carl, who was talking about Dodge and the role of the confinement in Dodge when you're transitioning into other facilities, and how long you were in, and if all of you guys have been in the hole, how long were you in? I know you said you were in for a year, but tell me more about like what the role, how Dodge is different, because that's what Carl was talking about earlier. So
Unit 17.
The dungeon.
Yep.
So your question is, how is Dodge different from,
Yeah, tell me
say?
about that.
From the standpoint of, I was explaining that anybody who's been to prison has had a solitary confinement experience because Unit 17 is segregation. It's just not charted that way, and people, our peers, don't think of going from one facility to another and sitting in the dungeon for X amount of days with somebody you don't know, with no shower and no out that room. It's the equivalent of segregation, and most people don't know it or label it that way.
Well, it's the same condition.
It's the exact same condition.
Exact same. It's kind of like in prison and segregation, we can all be locked in a box and have different statuses: temporary lockup, program segregation, adjustments. I guess they got rid of that. It's all disciplinaries. But there are different statuses. But what do they say? A rose by a different other name. It's still a freaking. You're still locked in a box, no matter how they call it. So the conditions of segregation are mimicked in transport, are mimicked in reception. When you come into DCI, the first thing they do after they strip search you is they lock you in a box for what? What are we quarantined for 3 days? I think it's 3 days. So prison, even if you don't violate a rule,
You better not go on the weekend.
yeah, you better not. If you get to Dodge on Friday, you're not coming out of your cell till Wednesday. So the conditions of solitary confinement exist outside of disciplinary circumstances.
Very true.
Does that answer your question,
that
Denise?
hits it, yeah. And it was an acknowledgement of that thing that I said everybody who's been to prison has had that experience.
For sure.
And you saw all the faces turn when you said it. Okay, I got 2 questions here. We're going to take 2 last quick questions, and then I'm going to invite you all to either hold the rest of your questions for our reception period, or you can grab one of the many people, self-included, and we can talk about the rest of it. I want to respect people's time because you all came out on the evening, and you're on a Friday, no less, and we appreciate it.
Hi, my name is Sydney Johnson. I just work a regular 9-to-5 job, and I feel like we've heard from someone that works in the sheriff's office, some educators, and a social worker. And I just kind of want to know, like, as they're talking about rehab, like, within the system, like, everyone in this room is here because we want to learn and do better and be better. What do you all want us to take away as just regular people going back? Like, how can we be better? Like, in conversations with our family?
Yeah, go ahead. You can actually right. Go ahead. You can double up. Go ahead.
Well, actually, she took the words right out of my mouth. My name is Jens Jorgensen. I'm on the Racine City Council.
Yes, you are.
And so
You got City
I
Council
think,
action voice. This is I knew something like
Yes. Put that on Channel 5.
and I can't agree more with what Sydney had asked, but I think I can ask it another way to kind of compound on that too. Not only as regular people, well, what can we ask of our legislators as well when we're, we have listening sessions or when we're considering on who to vote for? What questions should we be asking? What things should we be looking for in our elected representatives that would help change this?
A good voice.
Please.
So I think a common theme with most people, and I'm thinking about my mother when I kind of respond to that. I think a common theme is that everyone who's in prison truly did something to go to prison. And I'm not speaking about sheer innocence or any of that. But so like I spoke of before, I was 15 when I went, but I served most of my time in my 20s and my 30s. And the irony of that is it was what they call a stay sentence. So it was delayed, it was deferred. So 7.5 years after I was initially sentenced, I received 20 years, which was part of the initial sentence. And I served 17. So I think understanding, especially where we are in Wisconsin, and how the criminal justice system works in Wisconsin, I think if really understand that we can, in the blink of an eye, go from being at home in our living rooms to being in the county jail, to being in Dodge or in prison as a business owner. As I was in Oshkosh with the mayor from Racine years ago. So it doesn't matter who you are, it doesn't matter what walk of life you come from, it doesn't matter what your denomination is, who your friends are. Wisconsin would lock you up, and they don't care because it's big business. So I think as a person, who they would consider to be a civilian, a person who works a 9 to 5, you know, we think that we're shielded from the possibilities of incarceration or even recidivism or whatever, because once they get you in the system, then that's pretty much it. This is the reason it went from class A, B, C felonies all the way down to E, F, and G, because at one time, those were jaywalking and misdemeanors and stuff. But now, with that F being a class I felony, it's probably the lowest on the totem pole, it can cause you to be ostracized. It can cause you to not have housing, to have your driver's license suspended for 5 years. All these different things, and you don't have to be a criminal. And I think that's one of the biggest misconceptions that people have, is that everyone who's in prison is a criminal. And that's just not the case.
You got a response right there behind you, Brett?
You asked what you could talk to your legislators about. Something that I know that I see is truth in sentencing. It is clogging the system itself. It's clogging the 37 prisons that we have in this state. 3 of them being women's. Did you guys know that Minnesota has 1 female prison with 700 women? Currently, right now, the design capacity for the women's prison system is like 960 some women. Do you want to know how many women are locked up right now? 1,500. And so for me, truth in sentencing is not only clogging that system, but it's also clogging the system out here. I've been out on community supervision for 7 years. 7 years. Not one violation. I love to give back to my community. But I'm still on paper until 2027. Truth in sentencing needs to be dismantled.
Yes. All right, we got another comment. Go ahead.
I just want to piggyback off that. I did 29 years in prison. I've been home 6 years. I'm a taxpayer. You know, I pay all my bills. I'm a community activist. I do a lot for the kids. I go talk to prisons, people in prisons, and everything. And I'm starting the transitional living because I went up to the demonstrators in Madison to see and talk to them. And I said, you know, you got guys that have nowhere to go. They still sitting in prisons with nowhere to go. We can't vote. I'm on parole for the rest of my life, and I can't vote. They take my money. I can't vote on nothing. You take my money, I'm a taxpayer.
Please don't throw the tea into the heart. Don't do it.
But you will lock me.
That's why.
You will lock me up. Somebody can call and say, hey, Andre did something. And they'll lock me up and investigate. And after they let me go, they say, now go back out there. So what? You lose your house? You lose your job? And we start all over. We start all over and nobody cares. Nobody do nothing about it. We all did a lot of prison time. We all productive citizens. We all been out here more than 6 to 10 years. We've been home. No crimes, no violations, no nothing. Here we are. We're doing everything we can to be more productive. But people, they fighting against us. If you don't have no support, it's hard to come out here and do right. You have to have some type of support. And if you don't give them no support housing, they're going to be back on the streets.
Support starts with interest, my friend. You got a room full of interested people in the idea.
I just want to say one thing. For us, well, for me, what it is when did you allow us to pay our debt to society?
When is it paid?
When do we pay it? It can't be because we do the time. Because we do the time and you still treat us like dogs. Like we've never been here before.
So when is enough
when is enough enough?
I got excited because that was in the script. That was in the script. I wanted both of your questions is a two-pronged answer. First one is this, and this is the honest to God truth. All of us here, we got to breathe. We have to use we have to eat. We have to drink. We are all brothers and sisters. And the minute that we stop looking at each other as family, as fellow humans, and say felon, murderer, start putting labels, we take the humanity out of the people. So your question is, how can we change it? Let's look at the people that are locked up as our brothers and sisters and treat it like your blood relative and care like your blood relative was being locked up there. Second prong, if you want to ask your legislators, ask them how the correctional money is being spent. Ask them how it's being spent. How much is spent towards rehabilitation? How much is spent for programming? How much is spent for support after? Or let's ask this $1 billion question. How much is spent on prevention? Those are questions that can be asked. I don't have a political stance other than saying the following. When the questions are asked, to follow the money and they get answered, things change.
Good answer. Go ahead, Shannon. We're going to wrap up with you, and then we're going to move into the next room, sir.
All right. So I won't really add much to what was said. A lot of the stuff that was conversed on was about truth and sentencing. Several of us are in a coalition, and we have a whole retreat this weekend to talk about this very issue and how we strategize to get that done.
Don't remind me.
Which we're driving to tonight for some of us, 2 hours. And so that topic definitely, not much I can add there, but to the point about what can folks do in society. And so I founded a nonprofit called The Community. Carl works with us, and Lovely Kelly back there works with us, and so there's a table in the back room. And so if you want to learn more about that, you can see at the table. But the reason I'm bringing it up is that I usually would say in these moments, we love your money, but more than anything, we want your access, right? Because people have all types of folks in your lives that we need to reach, we need to meet. And we can't walk into a space and say, represent Habitat for Humanity, represent breast cancer awareness. Like right away, your heartstrings are pulled on, it's an easy conversation. Right, when I say I represent people that have caused serious harm in society, you take a step back, or you leave, or you shut down. So I need you to see me. I need you to see the level of humanity and power and brilliance in us, and that takes a conversation. It takes you coming to see us. It takes us able to have this face-to-face. I can't do that through email. I can't do it through social media so much, right? It takes more. And so we need your access to be able to come into spaces and have these conversations, these types of interactive experiences. On the flip side, Carl's gonna laugh, comes to the politics part. Liberals and Democrats are known as the party of this, right? They support us. What happened during the election when Trump was running? There were 17,000 things you could have criticized this man on. What did Democrats choose as the one thing to demonize him as? A felon. That was a collective party decision. And that represents the spirit and the soul of a lot of folks who think they represent this issue. But when the shit hit the fan, you went for felon. You grabbed that easy as hell, right? And there was a line by one of Bianca Tylik said in New York, she says, calling Trump a felon is going to hurt black and brown men more than it's going to hurt Trump. And what happened, right? So you have to look into yourself and your soul and say, do you really understand this issue? Do you really cause forgiveness? Do you really care about where we are?
Thank you for that, sir. Round of applause for our great. I want to say thank you to everybody for coming out tonight and supporting this issue. For all the people I've talked to who said they'd be here, who showed up, that can make the time, thank you. Please join us in the next room. A couple of different groups of table in the community is there. Power, Purpose, and Principle. By Mr. Brad Jordan. His gear is there. His book is there as well. Courage Under Fire. And, of course, Participatory Defense is tabling as well. And Project Return is in the next room as well, which is a statewide entity as well. Please join us if you have the time to do so. Thank you.